integrity is one of these words that you banty around, but it's one of those things that's hard to define, isn't it? Now, you can throw other words out, but those are then have their own definitions. Honesty, things like that. But I ran across something a number of years ago that I found fascinating in opening up my mind as to what integrity was really all about. Now, I want you to transport yourself back to high school math, if you can do that. It's difficult for me to do, but all the way back to high school math. Now, let's break the word integrity down to its root word, and let's ask ourselves, is there a math term that reminds us of the word integrity and the root of it? An integer, okay? Everybody always gets that. Every time I say it, people say integer. And then I always say, okay, smarty pants, what is an integer? And then people scratch their heads a little bit. What's an integer? Whole number. Somebody said it, it's a whole number. Now, you're saying, where are you going with this, Chris? Integer, integrity. They share the same root word, which has to do with being whole. If something is whole, it is undivided. It means it doesn't have two parts. To have integrity simply means this. It means you don't live an undivided life. It means you don't tell the truth in some situations and then shade the truth in other situations. It means you don't pay your taxes on some of your income and then not pay your taxes on some of your income. It means you don't treat some people like this and then you treat other people like this. It means that you live your life in such a way that it is whole. Now, one of the jobs that my mom had as she was growing up, as I got older and began to play varsity sports, she decided to get out of real estate. She got into working at the mechanical engineering department at the University of Washington. And we used to work, we used to have over for Thanksgiving all these students who would come from all around the world to study mechanical engineering. And one of the things that they studied in their structural engineering classes, being from the state of Washington, we have lots of hydroelectric dams. And we would see all of these studies and research reports and doctoral theses on all the different kinds of things that have to do with mechanical engineering. One of the things that I remember is they always used to talk about cracks in dams. Because small cracks can't bring down a dam. But big cracks can. And we all know that small cracks left unchecked always become what? Big cracks. And what do they talk about? They talk about the integrity of the structure. The integrity of the structure is compromised by a small crack. And many of you might say, well, wait a minute, I don't have any, glaring integrity issues. But I would ask you, as I ask myself, and we should always ask ourselves, is do we have any small integrity issues? Because the problem with small integrity issues is they become big integrity issues if we don't deal with them. And big integrity issues are what bring down our lives. Have you ever sat back and said, how do people perceive me and my integrity? Do the words that I speak match the actions that I take? The second thing that I found amongst people who are highly successful is excellence. They have an undying striving to be excellent at whatever it is that they want to do. They will work hard and study hard. They'll do everything they can to achieve excellence in their life. Now, there's all sorts of areas that we can have excellence in. We can have excellence in our physical life, the way we take care of our bodies. We have excellence in our work. We have excellence in what you're studying this weekend. We have excellence in our emotional life. We have excellence in our spiritual life. Have you ever done an excellence check? Because you know what? For successful people, good is not good enough. In fact, I like to say that good isn't good. Good is bad. Why is good bad? Because good will always keep you from getting to the best. If you will settle for good, you will never get to the pinnacle of what it is that you're trying to achieve. Now, here's another thing about excellence. Excellence is a choice. Every single person sitting here today could say, I want to achieve excellence in this area, this area, this area, and this area. And then just ask yourself, would I be classified as living an excellent life in this area? Now, some of the areas, you're already living an excellent life. But some areas you might say, you know what, I need to change this particular area of my life. I need to make what I call an excellence upgrade. I need to take my life to another level, and it's all by choice. There's a quote that Rocky quoted, and a similar quote to that, Dwight D. Eisenhower was talking about the history of free men. He said the history of free men is never really written by chance, but by choice. Their choice. You choose what your life is going to be. Isn't it amazing that you can write your history right now? Some of you are 10 years away from passing on from this world. Others of you are 40 years. Others of you are 50 years. and every part of the spectrum in between. But you can determine how you will be remembered when you pass on from this life by what you do right now. You get to write your history so that on your deathbed you look back and say, I wrote what my life was going to be. I made a choice, and I disciplined myself, and I lived my life. There was a stage in my life when I heard a speaker down in Dallas, Texas, and he said, it's all my choice, and I get to determine what my future is going to be, and in the end, my history will have been what I wanted it to be. And I said that day, I'm going to get myself physically in shape. I'm going to quit smoking. Or I'm going to go back to school. Or I'm going to take care of that relationship which I've let go and it's deteriorated. I'm going to choose what my life is going to be, and I'm going to make it something of excellence. Now, you know what? There's an old saying that says you can't judge a book by its cover. Now, the fact is that every single person in here has a book inside of them. I don't mean a literal book. I don't mean that you're going to write a book. But I view each and every person as a living embodiment of stories. You've all had tremendous stories. You've all had hardships. You've all had great successes. You all, if we could spend just a few moments with each other, could teach each other great lessons of life. You have a book inside of you. And people can learn from you. People can grow. And you know what? We could put you up here on stage, and you might only have one story, but you could tell a story that other people could learn from. But I would ask you this question. The old saying says you can't judge a book by its cover, but we all know that even though that sounds terrific, we all do it, right? We all take a look and we judge books by their covers. And I would ask you this question. Is your cover, is your presentation, is the way you lead your life on an initial basis, when people see you and hear you and listen to you, are they saying, I don't want to read that book? Or have you positioned yourself in such a way that they say, hey, that person is interesting. That person has a good attitude. That person is, that person's great. I'd like to get to know that person more. So that they open the cover and they learn from you and you develop a relationship and you learn from them. Again, it's a choice. You ask yourself, what could I do to upgrade my life so that people will want to know me? Because success in this life is all about relationships. It's all about the ability to connect with other people, because there is no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made woman. We all need each other, and the way that we do that is we upgrade ourselves into excellence, and people want to go with you. Now, here's what excellence will do in all of these, integrity, excellence, and the other things we're going to talk about, is it attracts other people. The one thing that I've found mostly about successful people is they don't necessarily even go out looking for it. You see, there's one sort of school of thought that says, well, I got to go out and get success. And there is an aspect of that. We want to be tenacious and all those types of things. But one of the things I found most about successful people is, even though they're willing to go out and they do go out to get it, more often than not, they attract it. See, I believe that every single person is either being attracted to you or repelled from you, based on who you are in your character and your skills. We attract people or we repel people. To the degree that you can change your life so that people are attracted to you, your business is going to grow, your skills are going to grow, your knowledge base is going to grow. You're going to become the type of person that other people want to do business with, they want to follow, they want to become like. It's all about attraction. See, one is about persuasion techniques. What can I do to these other people? But what I'm talking about today, and what I found amongst the most successful leaders, is it has less to do with persuasion techniques and it has more to do with personal transformation. If I work harder on myself than I do on my job, as Jim Rohn would say, people attract. If you want to attract loyal people, Jim would say, you become loyal. If you want to attract disciplined people, you become disciplined, because like attracts like. Ask yourself what kind of person you'd like to hang out with, and then make yourself like that person, and it all begins to work together.